Just tell me when to stop.
All right. So, Tom, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? How's the weekend?
I'm good. I had a great weekend.
Good.
Got to see all my kids. How was your weekend?
It was good. Not long enough, but it's
Yeah.
good. They never are. So it was
Yes,
good, though. I
agree
enjoyed
with
it.
you.
So got a lot of cleaning done around the house. So
Awesome.
it was good with that.
Very
So.
good. All right. So, how is teaching going recently? Are you facing any challenges?
In the classroom, it's going pretty good. I'm having a good time doing it. There's no real behavior issues that are troubling me by any means actually in the classroom. However, I am having an issue with a student that I had last year. She's in 7th grade now, and last year she definitely has some issues with socially, and I tried to help her a lot with that, and I'm glad I did, but I feel like there might be in her head a little something else going on, because I've been receiving, I'll just pull it up real quick. I've been receiving on my chat, well, not chat, like the instant message text thing that's on Google, messages from her, and they're not necessarily inappropriate, but they're kind of making me uncomfortable a little bit. There's a lot of I love yous and a lot of wanting to call me dad. I'm going to call you dad, and then even in the messages, it's dad, dad, dad. Even going so far as to ask about my wife, but referring to my wife as mom, and then my sons as brothers. And so, I mean, part of me is very flattered that I had that kind of an impact on her last year, but at the same time it makes me nervous that in her head, especially considering there's some issues, some social and possibly mental issues, that it might be in her head going to something that I don't want it to go to. I think so I'm struggling with how to deal with that, as far as I don't want to hurt her feelings. I mean, I truly don't want to hurt her feelings. She's a good kid, and I would understand it as well if maybe dad was a bad guy or home life was bad, but mom's good. Dad, I've met him several times. He's a good dad. He's involved. He's a really nice guy. I like him a lot, actually, which is funny because with the parents that I have, a lot of them are not the best. I mean, most of them don't seem to care about their kids. But this guy, he's a really good guy. He shows up to every IEP meeting. He's a good guy. I like him, and every time I see him after school, he's waving, and so there's no indication that there's anything else going on at home whatsoever. So I don't know exactly where it stems from, but I am feeling a little uncomfortable with it, if you will. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And the other thing is she does tend to. So I get the text or chat or whatever you want to call it through Google, the instant messaging thing. I get them from her, but then also I get them from her mom's account, where for the beginning of the message, she'll pretend to be mom, and just like for 1 or 2 sentences, I don't know if she super tries to sound like mom or what the deal is, but then part of the way through 2-3 sentences into the message, it'll break down and I can tell it's her, and then it'll revert to the I love you and dad and things like that, and that comes from mom's account as well. So she's sending it from both mom and her own student email account, so I don't know. And then it's also coming. It's not just from here at school. It'll be the weekend. It can be late at night, whatever. I'll get these messages on my cell phone because my Google account's connected to my phone, and I'll get these messages, and they're from her. I love you, Dad, and I'm crying as I'm writing this for you because you meant so much and helped me so much last year and things like that. And again, I'm flattered by it, and it does make you feel good that you've had an impact on a student that much, but to me, I think it's going over. So that's one of the issues that I've been dealing with in the last week and a half, 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
So.
Well, thank you for sharing that with me. So what I'm hearing is that you have a student who is chatting with you through her Google account, and she is sharing information with you that's very personal, showing affection to you through the Google chat, and you're wondering where the boundary should be
Right.
with this.
Right.
Okay. Do I have anything? Am I missing anything?
No, it's
Okay.
that's about the gist of it. You know,
Okay.
it's and again, I want to stress that the messages don't seem like. I mean, to me, they're inappropriate as far as how much she's talking, but there's not an inappropriate. You know, it's all I love you and dad and this and that and like looking at me like a father figure. I don't know. It just it feels too much when it comes to that. So I don't know. But yeah, other than that, you got the gist of it. So.
Okay. What would it look like if you were to have a one-on-one conversation with her, like pull her aside during class for a few minutes and talk to her about how you're feeling and what you feel should be the expectations?
You know, it's funny because I did kind of do that a little bit. She's not in my class anymore. She moved on into 7th grade, but I see her all day long during passing periods and whatever. And so I did pull her aside, and I was trying to be as gentle as possible because I'm really afraid to hurt her feelings. I mean, she's kind of a delicate, fragile individual, and you know. She tends to cry a lot at the drop of a hat and very dramatic about some things. And so I was afraid to hurt her feelings. But at the same time, I felt I needed to have a talk with her. And so I pulled her aside and kind of let her know, hey, you know, the things that you're saying are super nice, and I really appreciate it. It's, you know, it's a really good feeling to know that somebody thinks that highly of you in this world. And I really appreciate it. But I think that the chat message thing, if you need to talk to me, you can come talk to me in my classroom during passing